Good morning, grade 7. How are you today? Hope you're fine. Okay, now I want to make with you the question number 6. It just was a homework. Please make sure from your answers. Okay, number 1, we will choose who because it's just talking about Alexander Graham. This is a person. Number 2, we will choose that. Why? Because we are talking about telephone and talking machine. Number 3, we will not choose anything. Number 4, when, because we are talking about time, 29 years. Number 5, who had been curious boy. We're talking about boy. Number 6, nothing. Number 7, where. Number 8, nothing. Number 9, in which. Number 10, why. Why? Because called fly for the reason. So we choose why. Okay, number 11, we will choose whose. Number 12, which. 13, when. And 14, which. Please make sure from your answers. This is the answers. And now, today we will talk about, and we want to continue about relative clauses, defining relative clauses and non-defining relative clauses, page 75, student's book. Okay, first of all, we will talk about defining relative clauses. Okay, defining relative clauses, we use it to give information. To give an information. It's just a basic sentence. Example, that is the hotel where we stayed last summer. This is a basic sentence. So it just gives me an information that the hotel where we stayed last summer. It's just talking about the hotel we stayed last summer. Okay. So the sentence would not make sense. Would not make sense. Would not make sense. There is no sense. If we left out where we stayed last summer. So if I want to continue the sentence, it's not make any sense. Okay? Here, non-defining relative clauses. Non-defining relative clauses. To give extra information. Here, it's just a basic information in defining relative clauses, but in non-defining relative clauses, to give an extra information, like just a... Okay, my aunt who lives in Cambridge drives a bus. This is an extra. He just can't tell me that my aunt who lives in Cambridge, that's it, without drives a bus. He can't told me that just because if he told me just about his aunt that she lives in Cambridge, this will be defining relative clause. Okay? This is just an information about his aunt. But because he give me more information about his aunt, okay? So this is an extra information we call non-defining relative clauses. Okay? The sentence would still make sense if we left out who lives in Cambridge. Okay, this is it just will make sense if we left out who lives in Cambridge. So we can continue it with more information and just it makes sense for it. So it's an non-defining relative clauses. So if we want to compare it between each other, so if we want to talk about defining and non-defining, defining, that means just give me an information about the sentence, and non-defining, it just give me an extra information in the sentence. Okay? Now, please open page 75. Your homework will be question number 5. Question number 5, okay? Page 75. And now, at the last, I want to tell you about a preposition in relative clauses, you know the prepositions that on, at, in, like this. We do not usually use preposition before relative clauses. He just wants to tell me that usually use a preposition before relative clauses, and as it sounds very formal, and it's more usual for preposition to come at the end of relative clauses. That's mean in the example here, relative clauses. That's mean in the example here, the boat on which you are traveling is called the Merry Quest. Okay, this is very formal. And the boat which or that you are traveling on is called the Merry Quest. This is more usual. So we should always use more usual. And he want to tell me that if I use preposition, that mean before relative clauses, okay, that which, who, whose. If we are using preposition like in, on, at, okay, that's mean in very formal, will be formal sentence, okay, formal sentence. It will be formal sentence if we are use in, on, the preposition before relative clauses. But if we do not use it before the relative clauses, it will be more usual. Thank you for listening me for today. Do not forget your homework, please, and we will keep in touch. Thank you for listening.